The homeless policies currently in place don't seem to be enough to address the problems of drug use, violence, and theft. What changes would you make to address this? Sharon?
Thank you. So the homeless crisis is a real crisis, and it makes people feel unsafe, as well as it's not kind to those that are experiencing this. So we need to fill in the pieces of our mental health care system. That means looking for secure detox beds. It means looking for secure mental health beds, building those beds and staffing them appropriately, making sure that people have options to escape homelessness. It also means looking for long-term recovery beds. There are some folks, often for no fault of their own, that are gonna have a hard time living on their own and might need more supports. We need to make sure that we're providing those supports. Another thing is we need to fix our broken housing market. It's really easy to become homeless when rent is $1,800 a month versus when it used to be $300 a month. This is intolerable. Before the pandemic, we were at functional zero for children and families experiencing homelessness. That is amazing. We have definitely gone backwards as a result of that, but I do believe this is something that we can fix. Finally, we do have to look at our drug laws. The Supreme Court dropped a bomb on the legislature when they legalized all drugs with the Blake decision. We cobbled together a solution that we could get to pass. It wasn't the best solution. I will agree with that. It was what could get passed, and no solution, voting no on that would have been a vote to keep all drugs legal, which is not acceptable. So we have to figure out how to deal with drugs in a way that is more sustainable, make sure people have the recovery resources they need, and make sure that dangerous drugs are not legal in Washington state, and that the people who sell those drugs are punished appropriately.
Well, folks, this is exactly why it's important to look at people's voting records and not just listen to rhetoric. In fact, the interesting thing is the answer that Representative Shewmake just gave you is actually different from one that she gave to you less than 24 hours ago at the League of Women Voters Forum. Representative Shewmake does not even believe that fentanyl, one of the most dangerous drugs on the streets right now, should be treated as a felony. If we were allowed to treat hard drugs as a felony, that would actually allow our law enforcement officers to provide pressure and use leverage to get people the help that they need. It wouldn't have to stay on their record. It wouldn't have to stigmatize people from future employment options, but what it would do is allow us to actually address the problem. Representative Shewmake, again, supports the decriminalization of hard drugs. That's a fundamental problem. And you're probably going to hear on the radio that I'm an extremist. The most extreme position to take is the one that my opponent has taken. And apparently until just now, I'm glad that you've changed your mind. I have to ride along and help change that. But again, fundamentally, we have to make sure that those who commit crimes are punished for those crimes. And even Representative Alicia Rule had a bill this session to try to make fentanyl illegal. Representative Shewmake was opposed to that bill. That's a huge problem.
Sharon, you have 30 seconds for a rebuttal.
Did you hear any answers from Simon? Because I didn't. All I heard was attacks. This is all he has because he doesn't have good ideas. I do not support making fentanyl a felony. I do support making it illegal. Simon said I want to legalize all drugs and that I want to legalize fentanyl. There's a big difference between a felony and having real consequences for drug use, for being a danger to yourself or others. When you make something a felony, we are seeing the impacts of our failed drug war. It costs us billions. It doesn't protect people. It doesn't get people into treatment. I want to make sure we get people into treatment and have real consequences for things that are a danger to yourself or others.
All right, move on to our second question, still for our Senate candidates. This to Simon Sefzik. The state of Washington is sitting on a multi-billion-dollar surplus, but tax increases have been proposed. Are these necessary?
Nope. The fact of the matter is that 22 new taxes have been passed since 2018. Representative Shewmake says she wants to make an economy that works for all, but my guess is the vast majority of people in this room don't feel like that right now. When Representative Shewmake supported the policies that will make your gas prices increase by potentially up to $1 starting in January, that's not an economy that works for all. That's not an effective solution. The fact of the matter is that we had an estimated $16 billion budget surplus, and not a single penny of that budget surplus was spent on any type of meaningful tax relief. Washington state was one of the only states in the entire country to not give the people some of their money back in any type of immediate tax relief. And that's because I do think there's a disconnect. And it's a disconnect that is illustrative of the difference between my opponent and myself. I do not believe that a group of politicians and bureaucrats in a far distant capital know how to spend your money and run your lives better than you do. I think that you should be empowered with the opportunity to spend your money as you would like. But the majority party is going to keep taxing you away and not giving you your money back. That has to stop. That's why I'm the only candidate in this race that's been endorsed by small businesses that you trust, like the Association of Washington Business. That's why I've been endorsed by the National Federation of Independent Businesses. Because the fact of the matter is that continuing to overregulate, overstudy, and overtax is not going to bring people into prosperity. You are here to hear answers tonight. I agree with Representative Shewmake. She has had 4 years to make these issues get better, and it's not just that she hasn't done anything. It's that she's actively made these issues worse with more taxes. Have you seen the homelessness problem get better or get worse in the past 4 years? The fact of the matter is that the answers that you've seen out of the majority party have not made your life more safe. They have not made your day-to-day living more affordable. They have not made your government more accountable. They've made, on every single one of those metrics, worse and worse and worse. Representative Shewmake last night accused me of following political strategists in Texas for my campaign. I don't have to follow them because I have all of you to listen to, and you've told me how bad the status quo is here in Whatcom County.
Sharon, you have a minute to respond.
Simon Sefzik continues to advocate for the people that pay him. Big pharma, big tobacco, the people that pay his bills in the legislature. I think that's wrong. I want to make sure that the taxes you pay are lower. I want to lower taxes on working people, and I want to do that by not cutting schools, not cutting social services, not making our roads and bridges likely to fail, because I believe the very wealthy need to pay their fair share. 4 years ago in this forum, I said I do not support an income tax. I did say that I support a capital gains tax, because I believe in taxes that very wealthy people pay to make sure that our economy has fantastic schools, fantastic social services, and roads and bridges that work. Our capital gains tax, you don't even start to pay it until you make more than $250,000 selling stocks. Retirement accounts are exempt, small businesses are exempt, but $250,000 in a year selling stocks. If you want someone that's going to own the libs, vote for Simon Sefzik. If you want someone that's going to get solutions, you're going to look elsewhere.
Simon's got 30 seconds for a rebuttal.
Yeah. First of all, I think it's hilarious that you're saying a capital gains tax is different from an income tax. A Douglas County Superior Court judge literally just found that the tax you voted for is an income tax. The IRS has said that that tax you voted for is an income tax. And your only response every time I've brought this up has been, Simon's getting too in the weeds about definitions. Folks, I'm a legislator. My job is to get into the weeds about definitions. You're an economist, and you're saying that can you even defend right now how an income tax is different from a capital gains income tax? Sure.
Definitions that you took in your 101 class?
I would love it if you could explain it right now. You haven't so far. Go ahead. Explain how it's different, please.
Okay.
Simon is incredibly condescending up here. He does not understand the basic economics, and he doesn't understand that we did cut taxes on working people. We increased the number of small businesses that don't have to pay the tax up to $125,000.
Okay,
We
we're going
created
to
a
move on to our
working
next
families tax
question
rule.
now.
Yet again, not an answer to the question.
Exactly.
You have a PhD in economics. Explain it. Well, then explain it. Explain how it's different. Explain how a capital gains income tax isn't an income tax. Explain it. She can.
So I'd like to start by welcoming everybody who took the time to come out to the auditorium tonight. Welcome.